She pointed her finger at me and yelled into her phone, 911, yes, he's trespassing in my community. I stood there on the porch of my little lakeside cabin, confused but calm. She strutted closer, brandishing a clipboard as if it were an official emblem. "Gather your belongings," she barked. "This isn't your land. The HOA prohibits intruders." I nearly chuckled, but her tone sharpened, as though she truly thought she could evict me. The neighbors peered from their windows, murmuring while she shouted into the phone once more, "Dispatch the police immediately. He's not budging." I kept my arms folded, my pulse even, since what she was unaware of was that this territory wasn't merely mine. The documents in my backpack demonstrated something much larger, something that would turn her reality inside out. 2 patrol cars arrived shortly, sirens blaring against the ripples. Karen dashed toward them as if she'd claimed a victory, yelling, "That's the guy! Detain him at once! He's an invader!" The officers glanced at me, then at her, somewhat bewildered. "Ma'am, do you have evidence he doesn't belong?" one inquired. She thrust her clipboard at them, sheets crammed with phony-seeming HOA guidelines and autographs. "This entire lake falls under our jurisdiction," she snarled. "He's breaching every policy." I remained silent, allowing her to bury herself deeper. The officer approached me, his palm hovering by his waistband. "Sir, what's your tie to this cabin?" he asked evenly. Karen interrupted, screeching. "He has no tie. Just haul him away," I finally responded, measured and composed. "Officer, I believe you'll want to examine the title in my satchel." I retrieved a bulky packet, the very one Karen knew nothing about. Her arrogant smirk wavered as the cop unsealed it and began scanning. His brows arched right away. Karen stretched forward, attempting to grab it, but the officer restrained her. "Ma'am, you claim this is titled, in the name of it says he's not only the proprietor of this cabin, but something else you likely don't want to learn." Karen stiffened. What are you saying?" she faltered. I couldn't resist grinning. "It means you've been yelling at the incorrect individual." Karen's tone broke as she insisted. "That can't be authentic." He fabricated it. "I'm sure of it." The officer didn't budge. He activated his radio and relayed a message. Karen continued circling, gripping her clipboard more firmly as if it could restore her power. The junior cop bent toward me, softening his voice. "Sir, this paperwork indicates you possess not only the cabin, but the adjacent terrain, vast expanses." Karen's mouth gaped. "That's absurd. The HOA oversees this whole lake," she snapped, her complexion flushing crimson. I cocked my head, observing her unravel. "Amusing because per the county archives, I am the lake." The senior officer lifted a brow at that, leafing through the files once more. "This title is authenticated and endorsed by the county registrar. It's genuine." He pivoted toward Karen. "Ma'am, if this holds, you've been infringing on his estate along with all the folks you've been ordering about." The atmosphere fell utterly still. Even the neighbors who'd assembled on their stoops appeared shocked. Karen's voice splintered as she whispered, No, this isn't possible." I advanced nearer, dropping my voice just for her ears. "You dialed emergency on the guy who possesses the entire county. Ponder that briefly." Karen's legs nearly gave way, but her ego refused to yield. She drew herself up, staring daggers at the officers. "I don't give a damn what some ancient document states. This lake belongs to the HOA. We set the standards here." She growled, attempting to project strength, but her words fractured. The officer exhaled, obviously weary of her nonsense. "Ma'am, HOA regulations don't supersede county land titles. You're on his ground this instant." The neighbors inhaled sharply, some muttering among themselves, grasping that all their dues, penalties, and intimidations from Karen could have been a ruse. Karen's expression contorted with urgency. "No, you don't get it. I've managed this spot for ages. If word spreads, I'll forfeit it all." That's when I drew out my phone. With a single gesture, I accessed the correspondence from the county bureau, verifying my proprietorship, and displayed it to the officers. But what I truly desired was for the onlookers to catch the following detail. "Actually, you don't merely lose command, Karen. You could be looking at accusations." The junior cop's communicator crackled, and a transmission emerged. "Verified. Archives confirm the cabin holder has title to the terrain spanning the whole lake, filed years back. HOA jurisdiction null." Karen reeled backward, denying with her head. No, this isn't legitimate. I met her gaze directly. It's legitimate. And your petty empire? It just collapsed. Karen's cry shattered the serene lake. This isn't just... He's deceiving. He can't possess it all. She charged at me, clawing for the documents like a feral beast. But the senior officer intervened, securing her firmly. That's sufficient, ma'am, he cautioned. The neighbors had emerged completely now, devices lifted, documenting it all, one of them grumbled. Hold on, if he owns the terrain, then what have we been handing Karen all these years? Whispers ignited like flames, doubt morphing into fury. Karen whirled toward them, frantic. No, ignore him. I've been safeguarding you. Without me, this area would disintegrate. That's when I unveiled the ultimate element. An authorized county chart tucked crisply within the title. I raised it aloft for all to view. This isn't merely a property assertion. This chart reveals my kin acquired these hectares generations ago. Karen's been operating her bogus HOA on my estate all along. The junior officer eyed the gathering, then returned to Karen. If that's accurate, then you've been gathering funds under deceitful claims. That's swindling. Karen petrified like stone, her lips parting but no sounds emerging. The devices continued capturing every instant of her collapse. I inclined closer, my tone subdued yet slicing through the hush. You desired me out so desperately, Karen, but you're the one on the verge of expulsion. Karen's complexion blanched as the officers shared a glance. The senior one eventually stated, Ma'am, we'll require you to accompany us for interrogation. She wailed, gesturing frantically at me. You can't execute this. I govern this neighborhood. He's merely some vagrant. But before she could conclude, one of the neighbors hollered from the assembly. You extracted $5,000 from me for a phony peer. License. Another bellowed. You warned you'd impound my vehicle if I didn't settle your parking penalty. Outcries burst forth, rage pouring out now that the facts were revealed. Karen rotated in loops, ensnared by the same individuals she once dominated. Her counterfeit power dissolved in moments, and the officers firmed their posture. Enough, the junior cop declared resolutely. Face away, ma'am. She gasped as the restraints snapped onto her arms, her gaze shooting to me in sheer loathing. You'll rue this, she spat. I descended from the cabin veranda, composed and firm. No, Karen. The sole regret I have is not returning earlier. The assembly applauded, their devices still taping, seizing the precise instant the self-appointed monarch of the lake was escorted off. But inwardly, I realized this was merely the onset. If Karen had been audacious enough to fabricate an HOA on my territory, I pondered who else supported her. Karen struggled against the restraints, her tone fracturing. You don't comprehend. I wasn't operating solo. The officers pushed her into the rear of the vehicle, but that single phrase triggered a wave through the group. Folks traded anxious glances. I squinted. What do you imply not solo? Karen sneered through the glass, her panic shifting into a warped smile. You believe I was the sole one profiting from your territory? You'll discover soon enough. The vehicle departed, leaving a weighty quietude in its wake. Neighbors huddled near me, some expressing remorse, others indignant. One fellow remarked, if she had accomplices, perhaps the entire committee was aware. Another contributed, we've been forking over thousands annually. Where did all that cash vanish? I gazed back at my cabin, the tranquil lake beyond it shimmering in the waning glow. I declared, don't fret. I'm not simply the proprietor of this territory. I possess every entitlement to seek responses, and I shall. The junior cop lingered, muting his voice for my ears alone. Sir, if she's truthful, you might have uncovered something larger than a mere phony HOA. There could be authorities entangled in this. I peered beyond him at the neighbors who'd endured under Karen's sham regime for years. Their dread had transformed into something different. Optimism. I firmed my hold on the title. Then it's time to purge the place because no one defrauds a man on his own territory. The lake was quiet again, but I knew the real storm was just starting.